I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but you know, in postpartum, unfortunately, sometimes you can bleed up to 6 weeks. Hi you guys, my name is Brittany. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a video of what's in my postpartum kit. I cannot believe I'm at the point in my pregnancy where I have to make sure that I have all of this stuff ready for my postpartum. And you guys, this is so exciting. If you guys are new here to my channel, again, my name is Brittany. I have an 8-year-old daughter named Brielle, and I have a 20-month-old daughter named Leia. So this is my third pregnancy, you guys. I don't know the gender of this baby, and it's getting so exciting. By the time you guys are watching this video, I am actually 36 weeks pregnant. So I feel like this is a suiting time for me to go ahead and make sure that I have everything prepared for me as far as my postpartum period. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into the video. So you guys, today I wanted to show you guys what's in my postpartum kit or my postpartum basket, but I also wanted to give you guys some postpartum recovery tips for you, especially for those who are having a C-section. This is actually going to be my third C-section that I'm having, and I think, you know, I am not new to this rodeo, and I definitely think that if I would have known some of these tips before my first C-section, I think that my experience with having a cesarean would have been much better. With my eldest daughter Brielle, I had to have an emergency C-section because she went into distress. And with my second daughter Leia, I had an opportunity to have a VBAC, but I made the decision to go ahead and have another C-section or a scheduled C-section, just because I wanted it to be a more controlled environment, and I didn't want to try for a VBAC and then I was put in another emergency situation like I was with Brielle. And you guys, I'm happy I made that decision because my delivery with Leia, even though it was a scheduled C-section, actually wasn't that bad, and I felt more prepared for it. So yeah, so let me go ahead and get right into showing you guys what I have in my postpartum basket. Now, the first thing that I would say, if you know you are a first-time mom and you've never made a postpartum basket, the first thing I would say is to get a variety of different sizes of pads. My favorite brand of pads is actually Kotex. I don't know why, but this is the one I like. You guys choose the ones that you like and you love. So yeah. The first size pad that I always get is the overnights. Now, I like the overnight pads that are the thinner ones, not necessarily the thicker ones, just because this is my third time around, you guys, and all of my heavy bleeding only happens within the first week of, I guess, after delivery. And during that first week, I do use the postpartum underwear that the hospital gives me. And I also use the thicker pads that the hospital gives me, because when they send you home, you guys, they're gonna send you home with so much stuff. And they actually sent me home with enough pads to be able to get me through like that heavier stage. So the pads that I have at home are for, I guess, the stages where, you know, it's finally, or your bleeding is starting to trickle down. Now, you know, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but you know, in postpartum, unfortunately, sometimes you can bleed up to 6 weeks. So it's just good to just have a different, you know, variety of sizes. So again, like I said, my first size I have is the overnight, because this is the first size that I go to. And then after maybe the second week, I can go to like a regular thin size pad. And then after I go from that, I do go to a panty liner. And then once, you know, your bleeding gets to like the browning phase, I get like a smaller panty liner. And then after that, you guys, you know, your postpartum bleeding is over and you're expected your first period, unfortunately. So that's all of the different sizes of the pads that I did put inside of my basket, you guys, just because, like I said, I want to have variety, and also too, I don't want to have to send TJ out to the store, you know, poor guy. I don't want to have to make him, you know, go and do that or whatever. I'd rather just have everything home that I need. So that's the first thing that I would say would be an essential in your postpartum basket. The second thing that I would say is essential is, if you decide to breastfeed, would be to have some disposable nursing pads if you decide to go this route, or to use the reusable ones. I personally don't mind the disposable nursing pads just because I'm not a leaker during the day, but at night, you guys, from the night to the morning, I'm not too sure what it is, but I think that, you know what, I think I know what it is. Your milk production is actually higher at night than it is during the day. You know, it makes sense, but yeah, I do put these disposable pads in my bra at nighttime, you know, so when I wake up in the morning, my shirt is not drenched or anything like that, and they just work good for that. So yeah, I do have this in my postpartum basket just because, you know, when you're using the bathroom, you guys, you're gonna be changing everything. Everything needs to get taken care of when you are in your postpartum phase. And yeah, it's just, it is what it is. Another thing, you guys, that I do have in my postpartum basket that typically you won't see in a vaginal postpartum basket, like if you have a vaginal delivery, is some gauze pads. Now, after you have a C-section, you guys, it really just depends. When you take a shower, or when you take your shower, they're gonna explain to you not to rub or touch your incision area, just to let like the soap flow off of your body. But sometimes you're gonna find that after taking a shower, you know, you still have some moisture on your incision, and you really don't want that. So my doctor, both of my doctors with Leia and Brielle, they told me to go ahead and use some gauze pads underneath of, you know, my incision, just to make sure that area stays dry, especially after you take a shower. So that's why I have these in my postpartum kit, just to make sure that area stays dry and free of infection. Now, you guys, another, I guess, little hack or secret is that if you don't have these gauze pads, but you do have a panty liner, take the panty liner and put it where your incision is as well, and it will work and do just the same as a gauze pad. So it's just whatever you have at home to go ahead and do that if you are having a C-section. And you guys, I just want to just put this disclaimer out there. I'm not a doctor. I'm just letting you guys know from my experience, you know, what my doctors has told me and things that has helped me. So yeah. Now, another thing that is in my postpartum recovery kit is prenatals. Now, you're gonna wanna make sure that you're still taking prenatals if you decide or planning on breastfeeding, because at the end of the day, you need to make sure that you are still getting in all the nutrition that you need, not only for you, but for baby as well. And these are the prenatals, you guys, that I have been taking this whole pregnancy. I just got the generic brand from Target, and I actually like these because they actually have 1,000 milligrams of folic acid, which is really important during pregnancy and during your postpartum period. So yeah, this is the ones that I have been taking now, and that I'm gonna continue taking through me breastfeeding. Another thing, you guys, that is really, really important when you are having a C-section especially, is to make sure that you guys, you have stool softeners. Because after you have a C-section, depending on, you know, what protocol your doctors have you on, you're gonna be on some pretty strong pain medicines. And all of those pain medicines that they give you in a doctor's office to manage your pain, they are constipating. And you guys, the last thing you want to have or want to happen to you is for you to have a brand new incision and for you to be straining and having constipation. So I would just recommend you guys, like, just go ahead and get you some stool softeners at home and just already have them ready, because after you get discharged from the hospital, your doctor is going to let you know to, you know, take stool softeners because of the pain medication and the side effects. So just listen to what they have to say, you guys. Don't risk it. Don't chance it. Just trust me on it, because I did that, you know, with Brielle, and I learned my lesson, and I didn't do that with Leia. Because at the end of the day, you guys, when you do finally make that first bowel movement after having, you know, surgery, first of all, it's scary because you're scared that you're gonna rip something apart when, you know, it's not gonna happen. And it's just, you know, you want things to just flow nice and easy. So yeah, that's definitely a recommendation that I would have. Now, one last thing that's not inside of my postpartum kit that, you know, I'm going to be getting at the hospital, because they always give it to you, is a peri bottle. Now, I know you guys are thinking, you know, well, you have a C-section, why do you need a peri bottle? The main reason why I think you still need to use the peri bottle after you have a C-section is because you guys, you know, I'm just gonna be real and let you know, you still bleed after having a C-section. And I'm not too sure what the misconception is people think you don't have a postpartum, bleeding period afterwards, but you still do. And you guys, like, it is easier to be able to go to the bathroom and cleanse yourself with the peri bottle than it is for you to keep on getting tissue over and over and over again and keep on wiping over and over again. It's just easier to use that peri bottle, and then just put a new, pad on after that. Now, for me, because I have a C-section, I really only need that peri bottle for the first week when my bleeding is at the heaviest. And after that, you guys, I do go back to the toilet tissue because it's not a big deal. I didn't have a baby actually come out vaginally, so you're not going to be as tender or sore. You're not going to have like any tears or anything like that like someone would have in a vaginal delivery. But it is just easier with you taking care of your incision and everything to go ahead and just use the peri bottle that the hospital gives you for the first week. Now, you guys, I think that that's really everything that I am having in my postpartum basket. I'm going to go ahead now and get into some unique postpartum care tips for you when you're having a C-section. The first postpartum home care tip that I have for you is to make sure you have enough pillows to support your back. When you are in the hospital, they're going to surround you like in a dome with pillows to make sure you're comfortable, you're not putting any pressure on your incision, and also to you guys, you're not going to be able to lay down flat after you have a C-section. So I would just say, if you're going in for a C-section, to make sure you have enough pillows on your bed for when you come home, so when you go to sleep, you don't have to worry about laying flat. You can just lay propped up and it'll be a lot more comfortable for you. Another postpartum at home care tip that I have for you guys is to turn your nightstand into, I guess, your like mommy area. Inside of your nightstand, I would say to put in like granola bars, snacks, because if you plan on breastfeeding, you are going to be snacking through the night, and instead of you having to go all the way to the kitchen, it would be so nice for you just to pull out your, nightstand and have your snacks already there. I would say to make sure you have like all of your medications, your prenatals, different things like that, nipple cream, just anything that is for your personal care, to go ahead and put it inside of your nightstand. Now, if you have smaller kids, I wouldn't recommend putting your medication in there, but if you don't have smaller kids that is not going to get into your nightstand, I would say just put it in there so you can have everything just readily available for you, because getting up and down, you guys, it is going to be uncomfortable after having a C-section. And when you are stationary, you want to make sure you have everything around you that you absolutely need. Another, I guess, postpartum care tip for you guys would be to put an alarm on your phone for the timing that you have to take your medication. Now, after having a C-section, you guys, you are, like I said, you are going to be on heavier pain medication, and you want to make sure you take care of that pain management. So you want to stay on top of it. You don't want to wait until you feel like pain or pressure before you take the medicine. You want to just take it on top of the clock to, or around the clock, just to manage it, because it's so hard to get your pain back down manageable if you forget a dose. Trust me, I did this with my first daughter, Brielle, and it took me a while for me to get caught back up on my pain being manageable. With Leia, I did take, the pain medication around the clock as prescribed, and my postpartum recovery was a lot better with her. So I definitely would recommend just going ahead and using your phone, using your alarm clock, and then also having it say which pain medicine you're taking, because they will have you alternate in between ibuprofen and possibly a stronger narcotic. So another postpartum care tip I would have for you guys is to make sure your shower is fully stocked with everything you need. After having a newborn, you guys, showers are far and few in between, and you want to make sure that when it's time for you to take a shower, you have everything in there that you need. You can get in and out. And honestly, you guys, for me personally, for that first week after having my C-section, I do like to use this is called like the Dow Gold antibacterial soap. just because, you know, they do say you can use any kind of soap that you typically use, but I like to use an antibacterial soap just because I want to make sure that I am, you know, properly cleansing my body and I'm keeping that incision area as clean as possible, because, you know, you definitely want to make sure you avoid having a infection in your incision, because that's definitely not fun. Now, another postpartum care tip that I have for you guys is it's really just to make sure you get your husband and or your spouse or significant other involved in your postpartum care. And honestly, you guys, sometimes, you know, for me, my husband, he really doesn't know all of the things that I do around the house and things that I do take care of. So how I'm preparing my husband for postpartum, you guys, is that I have typed up lists and I've put them around the house. So things that he's typically not used to doing, like laundry or preparing meals, because he doesn't know how to cook, I have, you know, pretty much gave him a guide around the house to be able to help him to do those different tasks without him having to feel like he has to ask me or wake me up possibly if I'm sleeping with baby. You know, he can be able to do those tasks and take care of the other kids because he has a guide or something to, you know, follow after. And I definitely would recommend that for you guys, especially if this is not going to be your first child, if this is going to be, you know, your second or your third. You know, sometimes, you know, husbands, unfortunately, they just need that extra little bit of support. And I definitely would say by just giving them guides around the house, little notes, little sticky notes, it definitely will make it a lot better and a lot easier for them to adjust to that postpartum period where you're not able to do as much as you typically do. Now, another thing I want to add is that do not be too proud to ask and or accept for help. When, you know, your family and your friends, they do come over to visit baby, a lot of times people are going to ask you, like, is it anything that you need? And, you know, typically our first response is no. I would definitely say don't ever say no. It's always something that somebody can do that can help you during your postpartum period. And I would definitely just go ahead and just say yes. And if they offer to do any type of task or anything around your house, even if it's the smallest thing, I would say accept the help. At the end of the day, you know, family and friends, that's what they're there for. And I wouldn't be too proud to ask for help. Now, the last and the most important thing, at least in my book, that I would say to do as far as your postpartum home care tips and things you probably wouldn't think about, is to change out your soaps in your home to an antibacterial soap, and to make sure that hand sanitizer, you guys, is readily available for, you know, visitors that's coming to your house. Now, this is actually going to be my third baby that's born in the wintertime, you guys, and I know that, you know, it's really scary when I'm having a winter baby, just because the cold and flu season, you guys, is definitely prevalent. And, you know, you want to make sure you're combating all of those, you know, outside germs that, you know, you can prevent from coming inside your house, especially with you and your newborn baby. So I would definitely recommend changing out all, you know, your fancy soaps to just regular antibacterial soap. And you guys, again, don't be too proud to ask someone to go wash their hands before they hold your baby. Because at the end of the day, I would rather ask someone to wash their hands versus having my newborn sick and me being in the hospital, you know, just because, you know, I didn't advocate for my kid. So just make sure, you guys, that, you know, you are keeping you and your family safe first. So you guys, I really think that that's all of the things I wanted to mention for you guys as far as my postpartum basket and just postpartum at-home care tips for a C-section recovery. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see everybody in my next video. Bye. Thank you.